Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to go over what we call a quadratic equation on X and how we can solve these quadratic equations. This video is part of a series that I'm doing on how to preparing for the Pure Mathematics 1 paper and the entire A levels exam. So remember to subscribe to keep updated for the new videos that I will be uploading, as well as you can check in my webpage that I upload the link in the description where you can have more information, more examples, more exercises for you to further your practice. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at what we mean when we talk about a quadratic equation on X. So let me write this down. We're going to solve. This is going to be my task. We're going to solve the equation x to the power of 4 times minus 37x squared plus 9 equals 0. So what is it that what we are going to observe today? Here, first of all, we're going to be solving for the real numbers. In this case, we don't care about complex solutions just yet. That's going to be a different topic. So the thing that we observe is that this is a quadratic equation on a variable of x. That means that this is not actually a quadratic as we would usually write it down. That if you recall, it would be something like this. It would be a number x squared plus a number b plus a z equals 0. This is not the case because we don't have the linear x and we have an x to the power of 4. So that may be a bit like, okay, this is not actually quadratic, but this is what we call a quadratic in a form of x. Let's remember, for example, for this particular case, we're going to take a look at this following rule. You should recall that if you have a number raised to a power, and that is raised to another power, what we usually call the power of power, that is the a times n times that raised to the power of m times n. So we're going to be using this in this term here because x to the power of 4 is the same as x to the power of 2 times 2 because 4 is 2 times 2. But if I have x, and I'm having this, right? I have that this is x raised to the power of 2 times 2. This is the same as doing x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. So I can rewrite the equation, do it what we call a variable change. We're going to change the variable. How do we change the variable? Well, I'm going to call u, and I like u because we usually in mathematics use the letter u. You can use whatever letter you like. I'm going to call u to be x squared. So as I was telling you earlier, this here, this x to the power of 4 is x squared squared, right? I'm looking at here. X to the power of 4, that is this, is x squared squared, but x squared is u. So then this equation is 4u squared. Then we subtract 37 and I have an x squared, but x squared is u. And then I add 9 and this equal to 0. So what is happening here? What's happening here is that I have turned my equation that was raised to the power of 4 on x into something that is quadratic on u, my new variable u. And this equation that is quadratic on u, I know how to solve it because I have already discussed. If you don't remember, you can go back to the links in my previous video where I worked on how to solve quadratic equations. We have 3 methods that we can use to solve quadratic equations. I believe that some of you, if you are familiar with the method, you may want to factorize. Others may want to use the general formula. That's fine. Either way, you should be getting 2 solutions here. One solution for u that would be 9, and the other solution for you, that would be 1/4. So, am I done with my process? No, because I need to turn my solutions back to x. So what am I getting here? Well, I'm getting that u is equal to 9, but u was x squared. So I can say, okay, so this is that x squared is equal to 9. And if x squared is equal to 9, then I know that I have two different solutions for x, 3 and -3. And then over here, if u is equal to 1/4, this means that x squared is equal to 1/4. So here again, I get two solutions for x that are 1/2 and -1/2. So for this particular equation that was an equation of degree 4, we were able to solve it using this variable change, and we found 4 real solutions. In some cases, you may have some scenario where your solution was not going to be compatible. Imagine that, for example, if the solution had a negative value for u, we know that an x squared in the real numbers cannot be negative, so we will have solutions. That's fine. You just write it down and that's it. But it's something that is usually quite present, where you may need to use different algebra rules regarding especially exponentials. So that's something interesting for you to revise. I recommend, if you want to practice more on this, you can go to my webpage where you will find more examples and exercises to work with this. And well, if you have any questions, feel free to use the comment section below. I hope to see you in our next video. Thank you for watching.